Now, scientists at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have confirmed the presence of a probable cancer-causing substance known as acrylamide in 100% of samples of bread analyzed. The lead scientist and head of Department Food Science and Technology, Professor Isaac Williams-Ofosu, said the substance was relatively everywhere and could be found in heat-treated foods, including potato chips, some breakfast cereals, biscuits, and roasted and fried foods. Medical correspondent Dr. Netta Pasram now reports.
Acrylamide was first detected in foods sampled in Sweden in 2002. This substance has the potential to cause cancer. Also, it affects the brain and other parts of the nervous system.
Acrylamide forms from the three major components of food. Here we are talking about carbohydrates, then we are talking about proteins, then you're also talking about fats and oils. Acrylamide can form from each one of them. Okay, not to take you too deep, carbohydrates alone, when you heat carbohydrates alone, indeed acrylamide can generate from it.
The present study sought to determine the exposure and health risks bread pose to regular consumers.
We found that all these indicators were below the recommended thresholds, meaning that we have to educate our people. We have to police our bakeries so that they will do the right things. By simply changing the conditions of processing, heating time and temperature, we are able to also manage the levels of these acrylamide levels that can be found in food. The truth of the matter is that as far as cancer risk is concerned, there is zero tolerance. But for practicality, risks such that the values are very low in the region of greater or less than 1 in 1 million. If we say we have 1 in say 10 million, hallelujah, it will be very nice for us. So all we need to do is to manipulate time and temperature to bring the levels of acrylamide formation that can be formed as low as possible.
Now, the lead scientist and head of Department Food Science and Technology, Professor Isaac Williams-Ofosu, joins us live with more on this finding. Prof, thank you for joining. Now, this appears to be scary. Does that mean we should stop eating bread altogether?
Not at all. I've explained the issue about risk several times, and there are other confounding factors that would have to be in place, and then you can begin to show mild to severe signs of these adverse effects. The risk is just like traveling from here to Accra, for instance. There are risks along the line, isn't it? But then we do go there and come back by the grace of God every day. It doesn't mean that once you get into a car, then it means you are going to suffer any adverse effect. So there are other confounding factors, things that are uncertain factors that hasn't or that are not clear to be impacting adversely together with the presence of this acrylamide, so that the final response is shown. It doesn't mean that at all. We will continue to eat. Once we are also doing very well by eating balanced diet and so on and so forth, I think up to a certain level, our bodies have the capability to handle these adverse effects as well.
What should we be looking out for in terms of signs or symptoms to point to any acrylamide, poisoning or any contamination?
Right. Neurologically, you have these neurological signs, all the things that connected with numbness and so on and so forth. And as for the signs of cancer, it's all over, and that's it. But then the neurological aspect, numbness is one, and they're very typical.
How do we then deal with this threat, maybe even an existential threat, because we all consume bread?
Yes. My advice is that in some other places, it is nearing the process is nearing up for legal backing to control the presence of these adverse substances in food. But here in Ghana, we haven't reached there yet.
Right.
What I would suggest is that there are ways of controlling these. We have found out that cereal, the brand has high levels of these precursors, if you like. One precursor is amino acid asparagine. And there are also enzymes that are in place to break down these amino acids so that they don't initiate the reaction that eventually lead to acrylamide in food.
My final bit to you, Prof. So in the interim, legally speaking, or in terms of food safety authorities, what would you proffer that we start doing? In the interim, you say we've not advanced like other countries have, but what can we do now, in the here and now?
Well, at the moment, we keep things low. Too much of everything is bad, as they say. So we will continue to eat, but we are also bringing this to the fore so that we know that these things are around, and then you have to be very cautious in the way we patronize and consume this food, because the threat is lurking out there, isn't it?
Prof, thank you so much for engaging us and sharing these nuggets with us. Thank you so much for your time. And that was a bit by way of information there. We take a break now and return with business.